One of the frustrations being expressed, as you know, by the protesters is about what they consider corporate greed. Companies posting huge profits while many Americans are still struggling to make ends meet. Take a look at these numbers and you might see why. From 2000 to 2011, the median income in the U.S. dropped 7%. That's the worst 10-year performance since 1967. And then take a look at this. A survey of economists by the Wall Street Journal says we won't make up that lost ground until 2021. The average American family, another 10 years until wages are back on track. With more on this now is Jack Otter, executive editor of CBS Moneywatch. Jack, good morning.
Good to be with you.
The 10-year forecast seems pretty stunning. How is that possible?
It is stunning, but you know, it's been kind of a grim picture for a long time. It hasn't been negative, but you go back to 1980 to 2000. Productivity skyrocketed 70%. The average wage only went up 4.4% over 20 years. So this is actually a problem that's been developing for quite some time.
So this is not necessarily just a jobless recovery, which we've heard about, but a wageless recovery for people who have jobs.
Exactly.
Who's being hurt the most right now?
Well, the middle class is the one that's really being squeezed. But there's an education gap here. So college students right now only face unemployment of about 4%. If you have just a high school diploma, you're in double digits. No high school diploma, you're looking at 25% unemployment. Now, what's interesting, though, is these Occupy Wall Street folks, they've been polled, and what you see is a lot of student debt, and you just heard that in your segment.
Yep.
These guys are frustrated. They feel like, you know, the other part of the deal isn't being upheld.
Who is not feeling the effects of these flat wages, other than the 1%, of course, we've talked about, but the folks in the middle class who do have jobs right now?
Well, certainly, except that they've got jobs, so obviously having a job is better than just, you know, having no job, but they're still seeing stagnant wages. It's the wealthy who have seen things going really well for them. You know, Buffett loves to trot out this statistic that in 1992 they made $44 million. In 2008, $227 million was the average wage among the top 400.
What does it take to bring these wages back up again? I mean, I know there's no magic bullet, but when you look at 10 years, that's depressing. Is there anything that can be done?
Sure, not a whole lot. I mean, the problem is the recession we just went through was not a garden variety recession. It was a financial crisis. And you look back to history, you see Finland had a similar episode. Japan had a similar episode. So saying it takes a decade to get through is not crazy. I'll say two things. One is these predictions are notoriously unreliable. My favorite is in Bloomberg had a survey in 2008. Not a single strategist said the market might go down this year. Of course, it was down 40%. So there are sparks that can happen that surprise you. One great example is GM sells more cars in China than it sells in this country. People are starting to actually bring jobs back from China because wages are going up so fast there. Now it's cost effective to bring them back. So something could come out of left field and we'll get out of this faster than we think.
We certainly hope so. All right, Jack Otter, thank you very much.
Absolutely. I promised last week I would bring you good news this week. That was my good news.
I appreciate that. That's very nice of you. Maybe
Anytime.
Super good news next week.